Hello everyone, welcome to the moon path reading for the current moon phase. That's going to be the moon phase from this new moon that we have just left that happened on August 23rd. It's just now pretty much fading away and we are on our way towards the full moon that takes place on Sunday, September 7th. And that full moon is going to be in Pisces, just so everybody knows. And the other thing we need to be aware of is that it is also a lunar eclipse. So this one's going to be a little supercharged. So everybody get prepared. Prepare yourself. I think a lot of the work we have been doing over this past almost feels like two moon phases, from full moon to new moon, and now from this new moon up to this full moon, has been about really reclaiming our heart space and reclaiming our inner connection to the brain of our heart. The heart itself does have almost like a second brain, and it's like a connection to that spiritual inner core, and really looking at that and how it stacks up against your current physical reality. Now, this reading that I do, these moon path readings, are about the magical weather, like a bit of a weather report, to kind of get a vibe on the energies in play and how best we can navigate them and put the practices and meditations and tools that we use as magical individuals into practice over the next 2 weeks as we build up towards this full moon and what we may be wanting to manifest for the full moon. Now, as far as magical paths or structures, this is an open-ended reading. I am not focused on any one particular idiom, whether that be a religion or a practice. This is open to everyone. And this is about being a spiritual, magical person in the physical world. So please take that to heart, and that is core to the function of this reading, what I work on prior to doing the reading. Okay? So this is going to be a magical weather report for what we need to know as we get building towards this full moon on September 7th. It just feels like there's going to be a release of some old ways of life, kind of a clearing of the air. It also feels, because of Pisces energy and the lunar energy, that the sense of working with your imagination and creativity is going to be really strong and really high. But I'm going to let the cards do the talking, and we'll get started. I am going to use probably one of my favorite decks right now for the year, and that is the Light Seer Tarot. I've used these a lot in my public readings now. If you came to the readings on Saturday at Crystal Moon, I was using these pretty exclusively. Yeah, I'm vibing with them pretty well, and they're vibing with me. And so the idea here is I will pull 3 cards. I'm going to use the pendulum for the first main card, and then we're going to pull at least 1 oracle card to add a punctuation and some more information if we need it. We might actually pull a second one as well. This is usually a longer reading. We get a little bit more in depth with the information that is presented. Wow. Just had a whole bunch jump ship there. I'm just going to look at this one. 5 of Cups. Interesting. Some emotional energy, perhaps being a little static, focusing on the wrong type of emotional energy is what I heard. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cards, get connected to spirit, where we're going to let this information flow, and let's look at the weather report. For us magical folks, regardless of our practice, whether we use prayer or yoga or affirmations or incantations or candles, incense, talking with spirits. Let's see what, cut it there. Do a quick fan. All right. Use my opalite pendulum. It's about the only time I use this is for special card readings like this. We're looking for the most important card, the main card, the one we will be working with the most. What energy are we looking at for this run up to the full moon? Really strong pull to the left. Wow. And leveling out. It's in this stack right in here. There it is. Put the pendulum away in its case. I'll set that right there. For the other cards, I'm going to just pull them by hand, try to get a feel for what's next. That one's right in there. It's this one. And the other one is in the middle. So I'm going to get rid of my two edges there, the top and the bottom. Whittle it down. Right there. So those are the three cards we're going to start with. Main card for the Moon Path reading from August 23rd. Page of Swords. Interesting, this card came up at least twice on Saturday during readings. New energies, new communications, mental information. Swords is a suit of the mind, and how the mind can often run off on it by itself. But this is about someone, this feels like a message and the idea of brand new ideas, brand new ways of thinking coming forward with the full moon, possibly because of all the work that we have been doing the past 2 weeks, past two moon paths. And it almost has a vibe of the Fool, but this is about learning and study and new ideas moving forward based on what we know. Now, the page is an immature character, an immature entity. It doesn't mean you're immature. It just means that the ideas are going to be fresh and new, and perhaps a little naive about how they would be implemented. But there's definitely a sense of messages coming. The birds also are symbols for communication and messages coming forward with this coming full moon and with the energy that's coming with that eclipse as well. So be aware of that. And then the two supporting cards are the Chariot and the Eight of Wands. You can't get much more intense of forward-moving energy than these two cards together. Goodness sakes. It's like this is the third part, this is the outside view, and then this is the driver's view of this like hyperspace energy going on. Yeah, so tons of energy, my friends, tons and tons of energy coming. Please plan for it. Please, if you want to do manifestation and energy work, now's the time. Get an idea, craft it together, and be ready to move on it on the 7th with this full moon and the eclipse. So the Chariot is all about handling a lot of energy, a lot of control being used to keep the energy moving in the direction that you want it to. And you're doing it comfortably. You're doing it almost as a form of amusement. So there's a certain amount of play and joy that comes with the piloting of the Chariot. The Chariot driver handles two very separate forces, the white horse and the black horse, the yin and the yang, the positive and the negative, the light work and the shadow work. They sit at the driver's seat and are handling that energy as it is quite literally hurtling forward towards the full moon. So this is a time of just great potential is what I am feeling. A lot of magic, a lot of energy that might play into our emotions a bit more, and to be cautious with that. There's going to be so much energy, it's going to feel counterintuitive to go slow and steady. I think if we have a decent chart planned out, a decent navigational chart planned out about what we want to do over the next 2 weeks as we go towards the 7th and the full moon and the eclipse, you'll be much better off if you take the time to study and plan and think ahead, especially if it is a new idea that you're wanting to use or try. But I think by the time of maybe the 5th of September, we're going to be feeling this fast-moving, rapid-paced energy. The Eight of Wands is about this passionate urge that's moving forward at an incredible rate of speed, a lot of movement, a lot of possible travel. So there's going to be an abundance of energy coming up with this full moon. And the best thing we can do, forewarned is forearmed. And so if there is something you want to manifest, if there's something that you want to put energy towards, now is the time to get started and to plan and to think about how you want to implement it. Talk to spirit. These birds can also represent spirit and spirit communication, your spirit guides, your spirit team. Talking to them, getting an idea, listening to your intuition, and combining that with positive mental thought and well-learned knowledge, even traditional knowledge. The Hierophant's not here to kind of speak up about that, but this character is learning from a book as she is walking forward with a handful of idea balloons. So she's walking a tightrope as she's carrying these ideas forward that she's getting by reading this book and listening to her spirit bird friends. So think about that over the next few days and how you can implement that as we begin. And it's like this tightrope is this energy. So be ready, gang. I think we are in for a wonderful, magical ride. And there's going to be a lot happening all around us. This is going to affect people who maybe are not as tuned in. This is really going to spill over. You're liable to see people really go overboard with their emotions. The air is going to get cleared, possibly one way or the other. So just be aware of that. There's going to be a release sort of this buildup of energy, and people aren't going to know what to do with it or how to release it. So be thinking about how you want to navigate it and how you want to chart the course that the chariot is going to run over the next 2 weeks. That doesn't mean a lot of physical energy. That doesn't mean like being physically exhausted, though it could feel like it if you let this energy carry you away. You have to sit in the driver's seat. You have to know when to pull over and rest for the night. The next 2 weeks feel like it's going to be a marathon sprint. I think it's going to be both. I think by the time we get to the 7th, if we haven't taken care of ourselves, it will feel like a marathon. Okay. All right. I want to pull. What do I want to pull here? Let me think. I had a plan, and now that plan has changed. I'm going to pull one from the Wild Mystic cards. And I might use a deck I've never used before. I'm feeling a very strong pull to do so, so we'll see about that here in a minute. Moon path readings are always special. They always kind of bring a special, one-of-a-kind energy. I really like that. This one in particular feels incredibly potent. It's a good chance to get our energy focused and ready for really building something. Give me 1 second here. Gonna grab this pendulum. All right. Just gonna get an idea. I pulled both cards. Give it a little bit of a nudge. Okay, there we go. Which way are we going? Okay, we have our answer. Love. That's wonderful. We had this card just a few days ago. Do we have this one for the weekend, maybe? Where did this card... I know this card came up in one of my readings on Saturday. What a wonderful card. Focus on what you love. Focus on that universal connection of love. How can that change your focus and your path of how you want to move forward during this incredibly energetic time? Love has come up so many times in readings, and we're talking about heart space. We're talking about that connection to the heart space. We're talking about how we move through our physical day to day from the heart instead of the brain, or even our lower center and our lower chakras, but from the heart, with kindness, with love, with compassion. And here it is coming forward again as we're getting to this incredibly powerful full moon. So I don't think that's an accident. I think if you can find new ways to power your spiritual magical work with love, that's going to be a massive key to success and some pretty positive manifestation. It's really cool. Nice. Okay, so this is the deck in question. I'm going to pull a card from the Celtic Spirit Oracle. I have only used this deck a handful of times, mainly for just like a personal quick pull. Cool cards. So we're going to see what happens. Let's do it. One card of extra punctuation for what is going to be, I think, an extra powerful is this one right here. Wow. That one just feels stuck to my fingers. Pentagram. That's really cool. Protection, balance, and unity. So how can you work that? So when you're doing your work, because of the energy involved, it's going to call for balance. Remember I said the tightrope. Balance, this connection and unity with love, and a little protection probably isn't going to hurt. Wow. So get ready. I think that's that might be the title of the video, is just get ready for this full moon, because it feels like, I think we're going to look back on the 8th or the 9th and be kind of in a state of not disbelief, because we need to believe in all of this for this to work, right? We need to hold it as a core, especially with love, a very core central tenet to what we are doing. And I think if we hold on to this as we travel with the chariot through the next 2 weeks, I think we're going to look back and be like, what was that? Was a ride and a half. Whew. And I wouldn't be surprised if the reading for the next moon path reading, from full moon to new moon, is all about taking care of ourselves and resting, because I think this feels like the climax of a chapter or two that we have been working and walking and moving towards over at least the past 2 or maybe even 3 moon paths for, like, I guess, what would that be, like 6 weeks. So something to think about. Yeah, I think that is going to be about it. I would love to hear your comments about this. I would love to hear your feelings on this. Just be ready to chart your course, and know that you're wanting to chart your course because things are going to start moving so quickly, and the energy is going to be so whoosh. I'm just feeling this whoosh feeling, this hyperspace, like light speed feeling as we get closer and closer, that you're going to want to have things charted out so you can not get distracted or pulled off course. And that's kind of that working through the navigation of what you want to do over the next 2 weeks to work with this energy and to manifest something. That's part of the protection that this card is talking about, as well as this connection to love and the pentagram being a sacred symbol for a lot of people and a connection to all 4 elements and spirit, finding that unity, finding that balance, and moving forward with those ideas you have, because it's going to be possible over the next 2 weeks to really put some things in play. All right. Hang on, everybody. We're going for a ride. Please leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear them. Make sure to like the video if this was good for you, and share it if you think there might be someone in your life that could benefit from this information. And thank you so much for being here. I'm incredibly grateful for all of you. Thanks for this little community we have. And let's see how the full moon goes, right? The daily reading is coming up. That'll be on board for tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then. And I am almost done with the outdoor hiking vlog that I am still trying to put together of what we encountered and did over the weekend. So some pretty cool stuff there too. Thanks, everybody. Peace and strength. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.